9 warning signs your stress has turned into depression. Stress is an inevitable component of our increasingly hectic lives. Everyone, no matter how well-adjusted, healthy, fortunate, or hopeful they are, experiences stress on occasion. While it is unavoidable, it is not always awful. In little doses, stress can inspire us to push through challenging situations and complete tasks. Prolonged stress, on the other hand, can have a negative impact on our mental and physical health, resulting in diseases ranging from high blood pressure to depression. Chronic stress raises the stress hormone cortisol while decreasing serotonin, dopamine, and other neurotransmitters in the brain, which has been related to depression. Depression has an adverse effect on your self-image, everyday habits, and relationships. It can even be fatal, therefore you must detect when your tension has turned into sadness. Here's how to know if you're more than just stressed. Number 1. You've refused to socialize. Consider the following scenario. You have plans to meet up with some pals after work, but you've had a difficult day. You'd usually look forward to getting together for a few beers to unwind and take your mind off things. But now you'd rather cancel your plans in order to get more work done, or you'd rather go to bed and crawl under the covers. That is very natural behavior. Indeed, alone time is an excellent method to distress. If you're an introvert, putting yourself in social circumstances may tire you even more. It gets alarming when you begin entirely isolating yourself, which may indicate that your stress is turning to depression. If you find yourself retreating from social events entirely, especially with friends or family members you typically love spending time with, you may be dealing with something more serious than stress. Number 2. You are dissatisfied with yourself almost every time. Feeling anxious is unpleasant, especially when it is the result of procrastination. You may feel bad about yourself since you could have prevented the issue if you had planned better. But if you're working hard to get things done while still taking care of yourself and still feel horrible about yourself, it could be more than just stress. Ignore sentiments of continual self-loathing and guilt, as they are a sign that you are depressed. Number 3. You're having a hard time keeping memories. Have you lost your keys? Did you forget about your anniversary again? Memory issues are linked to both stress and sadness, so they aren't necessarily cause for concern. However, if you've been having difficulties remembering things for a while and it's only getting worse, your stress may be progressing to depression. 4. You've been sleeping a lot more or a lot less for weeks. Stress and sadness, like memory, can have a bad impact on your sleeping patterns. Now, just because you're having difficulties falling asleep or waking up multiple times during the night doesn't necessarily indicate that you're depressed. Most stress-related sleep issues are transient and normally go away once the crisis has been resolved. However, if your sleep disruptions last for several weeks or more, you may be suffering from depression rather than stress. Number 5. You're extremely indecisive. When you go out to dinner, there's always that one individual who reads the entire menu before asking the server for a recommendation. Some people are simply more unsure than others. Excessive stress, on the other hand, makes decision-making more difficult, and when you're sad, it gets even more difficult. This indecision feeds a cycle of heightened worry and irritation, which leads to even more self-loathing. When you see that this is having a detrimental impact on your daily life, you should consider that your stress has evolved into something more. Number 6. You're always angry and don't know why. Stress can make you irritated, and that irritability can quickly turn into outright anger. That is not good for your physical or emotional health, or for your relationships. When it's just stress, however, it's usually associated with a specific trigger. When you're furious all the time and don't know why, you may be suffering from depression. You feel helpless. Number 7. Stress can cause feelings of overwhelm and make it difficult to concentrate. The resultant worry may be intolerable. When it's merely stress, however, you can typically determine the source, and once that's addressed, the feelings tend to resolve themselves. Feelings of full hopelessness are unusual, and they may indicate that you are suffering from depression rather than stress. Number 8. Your eating habits are completely out of whack. Are you more hungry than usual? Perhaps you've lost your appetite entirely. It's tough to know whether this is due to stress or depression because it can be caused by both. If this change in eating patterns lasts for a time, it's important to pay attention since your body may be attempting to tell you that something isn't quite right. If the source of your stress has passed, but your appetite remains erratic, you may be on the verge of depression. You've lost your motivation. Number 9. Stress usually conjures up pictures of people tearing their hair out in anger, but a little bit of pressure can be beneficial. On the one hand, it can motivate you to do what has to be done, but on the other hand, it might demotivate you. When this is the case, and you feel powerless rather than merely exhausted, or you've lost all enthusiasm for doing jobs you used to enjoy, your stress has most likely progressed to depression. You may become concerned and troubled if you are no longer inspired to work toward your goals. Don't dismiss your emotions. It will just exacerbate the despair. Depression is growing more widespread, maybe as a result of increased awareness. It could also be attributed to our increasingly stressed lifestyles. It affects over 260 million people globally, So if your stress has escalated into depression, remember that you are not alone, nor are you weak. Be gentle with yourself, practice self-care and mindfulness, surround yourself with people who love you even when you don't feel like it, and seek professional help, such as from a therapist or psychiatrist. There is no shame in seeking assistance. Everyone requires it at some point in their lives. Remember that you are entitled to a happy and healthy life. If you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends so we can keep making them. For more videos like this, hit the subscribe button and remember to click on the notification bell. Also, be sure to check out our other videos as well. Thanks for watching.